Hi everybody, this is my Tilt W for week 3, so my reflections on week 3. This is my first week of rounding with the medical team, and this is because the previous 2 weeks I've been on projects, so it's been a very enlightening and eye-opening experience with a lot of different things and a lot of moving parts. And I think before this week I had a lot of nerves and anxiety about what to expect, and I think that now it's a little bit better, but I think that there's a lot of things that I have to work and improve on. But I'm going to do start, stop, and continue. So in terms of start, I think that one thing that I definitely think that is the biggest glaring issue for me right now is working at patients, and they're just taking a very long time. I'm not very systematized and not very organized when it comes to doing it. It's kind of I just look at a problem and kind of just work, but I don't think that I have that much of a great system for working on patients yet. And I think that's something that will come with time and practice. And also, there's a few resources that I can consult, like Dr. Carlson's handout and Blackboard, and I'm sure the Dropbox as well. But I think having a better system to work on patients, because right now it just I kind of flitter all over the place. I think that that's something that costs a lot of time, and I think that it's just something I must work and just start continuing on being more organized and systematized. Like I have my notes organized, but I think that having a specific system, like okay, I'm gonna start 1, 2, 3, 4, and just go through the progression is something that I lack right now and that I need to work on. In addition, I think that I'm not really comfortable too much with citing guidelines and really looking at guidelines and trying to find pertinent information from guidelines. I think that that's something that in CDM, I'm used to the modules where the information is so nice and clean and cut, so it's not that hard to sift. But I think that I do reference guidelines, but I don't think I do enough, and I don't think I have enough rationale a lot of times for whatever assess and recommendations that there are. So I think that that's something I need to start doing as well. I'll reference some guidelines occasionally, but I'm not. I think every single assessment has to have a very specific rationale and a very good amount of evidence to back up any clinical decision making. And also just being more effective at sifting through guidelines and just being able to read them more better. Because I think that right now it's like information overload when I see them, and then I'm not very comfortable. But I think that will just come with more time. In terms of things to stop, I think that something that I need to stop doing is just being afraid to make mistakes or being uncomfortable about asking for clarity when it comes to certain medications. I think that that's the reason why we're there. We're there to reevaluate the medications and what they're there for. And sometimes there's like gaps of knowledge, and I sometimes I don't necessarily say something because I might be scared of what people think, or if I'm just missing some piece of information I could have found myself. And I think that I'm here to learn, and unfortunately that's going to come with a just learning how to be okay with being wrong and just trying to learn. And I think that's something that I have to be more okay with. So I need to stop being so uncomfortable with asking questions and asking for clarifications for interventions out of fear. And I think that also just I need to stop just trying to expect things to be good and well. I think working in patients takes a long time to get good at, and even in this rotation, I don't think it's possible to, quite frankly, to be able to become totally proficient working in patients. And I think that's something I need to accept. I think that this is my first week, so I'm sure that the cases and the pre-farm rounds and the farm rounds and the email that I'll send Dr. Carlson later today, I'm sure they're not going to be very great in terms of the workup for the patient. And I think I have to be okay with that, because that's how it's going to be in the beginning. There's no way someone's just going to come in on day one or on the first week and just do well. So that's something I need to be okay with and stop trying to have such high expectations when I just start. And I think that in terms of things to continue, I just want to continue just working with patients and learning how to complete them more efficiently by just consulting the resources and just having more sessions of the pre-farm rounds as well as the farm rounds just lead me to become better at working in patients, quite frankly. And I think that since this is my first week, the number of times that I've had that is just not as many. By the time next week or the week after that rolls around, the numbers will start accumulating. The number of repetitions that I'll do this will start increasing, and I'll just become better and better at it. So at this point right now, I just there's no way to have there's no way to expect to be good right away. So it's going to take time. And I think that one other thing that I would just want to continue is just to continue being an active participant in the pre-farm rounds and farm rounds. While I can't always guarantee that everything that I'm going to do is proper or correct in terms of what I write up for a patient, I think that I can always be open and willing to learn and listen to Dr. Carlson and to the feedback that's given, and just try to be an active part of the conversation and just really trying to learn from each patient scenario. I think that's something that I can do. I think that I've kind of told myself that I can't always guarantee that I'm going to do well in terms of the clinical knowledge or in terms of even what I'm going to write in terms of the patient assessment, but I can always give a good effort. And that's something that I tell myself that I can control. And that is something that I continually want to work on and to continue to give. So those are my reflections for the week, really. I think that there's just been a lot of information, and I think that I'm just really trying to find my bearings right now, and it's going to take a little bit of time just to get acclimated, and that's something that I have to be okay with. And I have to be okay with my pre-farm rounds, farm rounds, and working at patients to be not so great in the beginning. They're going to be a work in progress for a long time. So with that concludes my Tilt W. Thank you, guys.